So Ajahn, jhana is referred to as a sense of safety. In what way is it safety, and what is it safe from? Is it possible to point out some type of or more mundane or lower level safety that carries the same principle as the safety of jhana, which could therefore help to lead one in the right direction for developing it? So what is the sense of safety?
So it's safety from your own mind being able to turn against you. It's basically safety from within. You know, like all those suttas with the simile of an intimate friend working against you, trying to kill you in your sleep and stuff like that. Well, that's your own mind. So jhana is the beginning of safety from your own mind, where you know it. And that's why you feel that rapture, or whatever they want to translate it, piti. Like you feel like a physical relief, joy, upliftment, whichever way you want to describe that pleasure. For the first time you're feeling safe from the most accurate, most precise root of suffering, which is your mind affected with craving. And you see that is impossible. Mind cannot possibly turn in that direction in jhana. And on account of that you experience confidence and immeasurable safety. So the mundane examples, well, I mean, the Buddha gave a number of mundane examples, and you could see why they would translate quite well. Say like the example of being released from a prison. That was the example for the pleasure of the first jhana. So imagine you're in prison, falsely or rightly, doesn't matter. And you worry about your property, about your house, about your wealth, about your family, about everything you worked for. And then you're released from that prison. So you are still apprehensive to see what you're going to find. And then you get back home and things are even better than what you left, how you left them. So you have a tremendous release and joy and happiness that not just it was not taken or lost, it got even better. So that relief, basically, it's the same. Like, say you feel imprisoned by the possibility of your own mind to disobey you, to go against itself on that most fundamental level. So, like, you can't prevent things, you can't prevent perception from arising, you can't prevent feelings from arising. And you know that. And that's not the problem. The problem and the fearful part, the anxious part, is the fact that you could end up perceiving something suddenly or feeling something suddenly, and your mind will decide to turn against it internally, to turn against itself perceiving it. And that's like the deepest sort of pain, denial, anguish. So whatever specific thing that might be, it will have to fall into this category. It will have to have a common thread of a mind turning against itself when paired with something that's deemed unwanted, unpleasant, whatever. And see, that's the ever-present sort of possibility. Not the fact that you can perceive something upsetting, but the fact that upon perceiving something upsetting, your mind can really turn against you. And that will show you the full extent of your impotence and imprisonment. You're imprisoned under your own mind, under that wild animal that we often refer to. It's all fine and good when it doesn't turn against you, and then you pretend it never will. But at the back of your mind, you are aware that there is always a possibility that something would disturb that mind to such an extent that it will want to cancel you as well. It will want to cancel everything. And you will have no say in it. So that's why people go around fearing this or that or avoiding, because they don't want to experience the rawness of that mind. If it's upset, they don't want to upset it. That's why people don't want to keep the precepts in sense restraint, because that already starts upsetting the mind. That then starts throwing all sorts of irrational things at you, and fears and doubts and hindrances, just to show its power, basically, to get you back in line. And none of that's possible in the first jhana. In the first jhana, the roles are completely reversed. You are fully withdrawn from the entire extent and power of that mind, and you know it, and the mind knows it, and that's why it calms down.
It was like the example you gave the other day about the tamed elephant. Now you know, and the mind knows that it's free in a way, that it's tame, that it's calm, the craving is gone. So now it's like I cannot crave anymore. The mind knows it.
Yeah, like once you tame the mind properly, then exactly, even that mind will realize, oh, actually, this is better for me too. Like the only reason he was doing what he was doing was because he was wild and untamed, and he didn't know anything better than that. But once you sort of honed it in, trained it, calmed it, tamed it, made it incapable of turning against you or against itself, then it realized, oh, this was actually for my welfare all along. I just wasn't aware of it. Keeping the precepts was pleasant. Sense restraint was pure joy. But until you develop that tameness of that mind, it will feel like the opposite, because the mind will resist it.
So once it tastes the pleasure of being having fulfilled the precepts, taste the pleasure of sense restraint, that's already like that, getting it ready to realize that.
Well, that's why, like for a householder in the suttas, the Buddha did not teach them meditation techniques and whatnot. He told them to reflect and frequently recollect their unbroken virtue, their aggregative virtue, their faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, the Dhamma. Basically, recollect those things. Think about those things, and the mind will calm down and experience pleasant abiding here and now, which is a description for jhana when he came to monks. Pleasant abiding here and now.
Aids in the complete turning away from all unwholesome things.
Yes,
isn't
exactly. It goes in the same
direction.
direction.
That's the result.
Yeah.
The more pleasure you get from virtue, the more it's going to go. The more you realize, oh, this is blameless, easy.
Blameless, easy, and effortless. Yeah. The jhana is the result of rightly taming your mind.